It is the morning sports desk for Wednesday, the 1st of May. It's May Day. Happy May Day, everybody. I'm CJ Baumgartner. No Corey Tackman with me today. He is out turkey hunting, so I hope that he is listening to this out in the blind, and I hope that while he looks down to check his phone, the turkey of a lifetime shows up. Corey, if you hear that, I'll know. So there you go. All right. Well, this has been the morning sports desk today, and we got a little bit to talk about. First off, we are going to recap what was a doubleheader yesterday. Thanks to a little bit of rain, it didn't quite happen the way that we wanted to. We had a doubleheader originally set to be broadcast on the Superstation between Otter Tail Central and Wadena Deer Creek. We got through one game. That was pretty much it. They got through the first inning of the second game, and then Mother Nature started to do its thing. The game originally was supposed to be played at 4 o'clock. They moved game one up to 3 o'clock to try and beat out the rain and at least get one game in. They were able to do that. Wadena Deer Creek won at 10-0. We'll get to some of those stats in just a second, but just kind of giving you a recap of what I was doing. I was sitting on the foul pole in right field, or right behind it, right behind the fence, and I had my truck right behind me. So the moment it was going to rain, I was ready to bail and just hop in my truck and just call the game from there and poke my head out every once in a while and do it that way. And it worked until the windows started to fog up and the rain kept coming. And then they decided to put the game on pause. So I was okay with that decision. Overall, they're going to play today, or if you're listening to this later in the day, they're probably playing right now. Wadena Deer Creek is playing Sebeka today in Sebeka, and then they are coming back to Wadena to play Otter Tail Central in those and finish up the last part of that game. They got through one whole inning where OTC became the home team. Wadena Deer Creek was the away team. Otter Tail Central was up 4-1 as we put that game on pause. But even in that game, in that first inning, man, the rain was coming down. Both teams were pretty quick to get out of there for good reason. Felt like the grip on the softball wasn't that well for both starting pitchers. Just couldn't quite get some momentum going now. We'll see how it goes in that game. We will not have coverage of that one, but we did have coverage of that game yesterday in that. So overall, Wadena Deer Creek wins that first game 10-0 in 6 innings. Montana Karsten pitches 6 shutout innings from the circle as I take a peek back in my scorebook. Our player of the game we had was Lily Parker, who finished 3 for 4 with an RBI. A couple other notable stat lines: Lola Pulver, 2 for 4 with an RBI as well. Montana Karsten, 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs, as well as 3 stolen bases on the day for Wadena Deer Creek. For Otter Tail Central, Ezra Baker was 3 of 3, had a couple singles and a double to her ledger in that first game. I thought overall in that early part of the game that the pitcher, Sophie Ackerman for Otter Tail Central, didn't do a bad job. I know the final score looks 10-0 and whatever, but that's a team that in Otter Tail Central, they're young, and talking to their coach, Coach Ackerman, she really just said, we're a team that's got some talent. We're a team that needs some things to go our way. They'd only won one game up till that point in the season. They only have one win as of this recording, but she said, really, we've just beaten ourselves in a lot of these games and just made some of those rookie mistakes and things that you just take your lumps, your growing pains, if you will. And those mistakes aren't ideal, but you make them. And then the hope is that in the coming years, you build off that and like, okay, well, I did that. Okay, what do I need to do? It kind of forces you to step up to that varsity level. And that's just where Otter Tail Central softball is at. They've been able to play some good games, haven't quite gotten the wins that they've wanted to, but and even seeing it yesterday, there was talent there. They got runners on base. They were able to do some things, but just a couple base running miscues, a couple things in the field that didn't go their way, some plays that they probably wanted back. And that's just going to happen with a young team. You'd like it for everybody to come out and make all the plays in front of him, and everybody wants to, but with varsity softball, that ball's hit a little bit harder. The runners are moving just a little bit faster. Everything is played just a little bit more crisp than what you're used to. And it's just a process. And some people pick it up better than others. And Otter Tail Central right now, a young team, a team that's looking to build on some stuff. But as of right now, just trying to figure some things out early in the season. Wadena Deer Creek keeps winning. They get that 10-0 victory, of course. Active on the base paths. Montana Karsten, 6 shutout innings from the circle. Did pitch in that first inning. Had some errors behind him. But again, it's tough to judge because of the rain in that situation. You don't want to with Otter Tail Central or Wadena Deer Creek, I think both coaches will tell you they're not going to excuse bad plays because of the rain, but you do have to acknowledge that at least that is part of the field conditions for, the sixth inning of that game. I know it ended in 6, but the sixth inning right at 4:00 is when that rain started to come down. On my phone, there was a 100% chance of rain. And at 4:01, it was like, whoosh, you could start to see that come down. That's when I bailed to get to dry land. And really, is when the rain came down softer at first, but then just picked up more and more to the point where, like, by 4:30, it was just pouring and you couldn't get much in. An official varsity game is 5 innings, so they tried to get to that 5th inning in game 2, but they couldn't get past. They got past inning number 1, and that was it. That's where they decided to draw the line. They'll pick things back up and try to play a whole 7-inning game today. Against Otter Tail Central. They will play Sabika first this afternoon, so it'll be interesting to see how Coach Umlin wants to move that lineup around. Do you pitch Montana Karsten in that game? Do you pitch her in both games? Do you maybe roll to Jenna Dykoff, has been the second pitcher that Coach Umlin has liked to roll with? So it'll be interesting to see where Coach Umlin wants to go in that situation. But that's our coverage there. We will try and have baseball coverage tomorrow on KWAD 101.7 FM AM 920 between Parker's Prairie and Wadena Deer Creek and Park Region Conference baseball. In that one, as always with spring sports, it's weather pending. Okay, so let's move on now and talk about our state sports. And look, the Twins, they've done it. They've beaten all odds. They've broke a streak that was 13 years old. They've won 9 games in a row. Watch that baseball soar, man. Watch that baseball soar. The Twins were able to win 9 games in a row with a 6-5 victory over the Chicago White Sox last night, their first 9-game winning streak since 2008. Where were you when the Twins last won 9 games in a row? They were playing in the goddamn Metrodome. That's where they were. I remember watching it. It was in between my 4th and 5th grade years. That summer, I watched the Twins win 10 games in a row, and it got snapped on a Saturday night game against those darn Milwaukee Brewers. The Twins would win that series, though. That's just a flex that I have no life. But anyway, I also remember being at a Twins game in 2011 when they had that 8-game winning streak. They beat the San Diego Padres in that one. But anywho, that's where we sit with Twins baseball. And it's not just that they've won 9 games in a row. It's not just that they've gotten Carlos Correa and Yohan Duran back now, and they both have contributed since coming back to the club in these last 2 games. It's not just that everybody in the lineup is hot right now, from Kyle Farmer, who a week ago had a batting average under 100, now has moved it up like 40 points. You look at a guy like Byron Buxton, who's had some clutch opportunities to get on base. Max Kepler, back-to-back game-winning RBIs in back-to-back games. And what's the reason? Are things clicking? Is that the Twins were a good team on paper and they're finally starting to play like one? Is it all of that? No, it is not. It is because of this. It is because of the rally sausage. The rally sausage. Look at that thing. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, you should go to the Hubbard Radio-Wadena YouTube page and find the morning sports desk, because you can see a picture of this beautiful, scrumptious rally sausage in all its beauty. Look at the thing sweating in the packaging in the Los Angeles sun. That was a picture taken on the Twins broadcast from Sunday, and man, oh man, has it been helping. So if you noticed last week, the Twins, whenever somebody would hit a home run or get a big hit and they come around to score, they would throw a sausage at the person. And you wonder, why the heck are they doing that? Well, Kyle Farmer got a meat bundle from Cloverdale Sausage and Sweet and Tangy Summer Sausage, in fact, or Tangy Summer Sausage, whatever it's called. And he just didn't know what to do with it. He's like, hey, does anybody, you get so much of it, you can only eat so much. So it's like, hey, wanting to share, does anybody want it? And Ryan Jeffers takes it and I guess forms a religion with it, because they have been worshiping at the altar of the rally sausage. Anytime anybody gets a big hit, tap the sausage. Anytime somebody needs a little bit of luck in their next at bat, tap that sausage. Grab your sausage. That's the Twins baseball motto for 2024. What is going on? This is clearly just a case of too many 20-something-year-old dudes just having way too much time together that they have all now had the rally sausage. If you look at Rocco Baldelli, he talked about it Sunday before the game, and he was almost embarrassed to talk about it and embarrassed to say what the heck the thing was. Rocco Baldelli's like, the package hasn't been opened yet, and once it does, it's basically going to become a biohazard. I don't know how they're getting this thing on the team plane, but they are. I don't know, man. I don't know. The rally sausage. Look, and I want to argue with it. I'm not superstitious, but like the team has won 9 games in a row. I can be a little stitious for the sausage. I think that's perfectly in play. The Minnesota Twins rally sausage. They've won 9 games in a row. And I know that people are going to say, well, it was against the White Sox and the Angels and the White Sox. Aren't those Mickey Mouse wins? Kind of. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Twins are now a juggernaut. The Twins are now the best team in baseball because they've won 9 in a row against the White Sox, Angels, and White Sox. But they won the games, didn't they? They needed to. They needed to go on a 9-game winning streak to pick themselves up and get themselves back into contention in the American League Central. They've 8 in. Cleveland had like a 7-game lead in the division over Minnesota a week ago. And now it's at like 3 games. You've 8 into that. Remember, you can't lose. You can't win the season. You can't win your division in April, but you can sure lose it. And the Twins were in dire jeopardy of losing their season before we even got to the NFL draft. And thanks to rattling off all of these wins, the Minnesota Twins now are in a great spot. Not that they're in the best spot. Obviously, if they had a 500 record and then went on a 9-game winning streak, things would feel a lot better, but it's going to be okay. Cleveland has the best record in the American League right now, although they did just lose last night. The Royals and the Tigers feel like they're not going away quite yet, but at the same time, it's a long season. And I mean, how many times, even when the Twins were bad in like 2013, 2014, they like have a nice little start to the year and you're like, oh, maybe they could like do something. And then over the course of a long season, it proves that no, they're not actually that good. And I think that's what's going to happen with Detroit and Kansas City, although Cleveland has proven before that they can last. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, the Twins are the defending division champions. They need to get a little bit of credit here for coming back and doing this thing. So there you go. I mean, I think the Twins have a real shot of winning the division, even though they're, it's 3 games that they're down by right now to the Guardians, but it's May. If it was September 1st and the Twins were only 3 games back, I'd still be like, they have just as good a shot to win the division as anyone. So that's the key here. It's still early, and the Twins didn't bury themselves. That's my only thing in the first couple months of the season. Don't bury yourself. And if you're lucky, you'll go on a run. Now, the Twins almost buried themselves and went on a run. So in a way, they kind of used up their luck, but didn't it feel like the Twins got such a raw deal in the first few weeks of the season with all the injury luck to Correa and to Duran and Thielbar, and just felt like they had some batting average on balls in play luck, bad luck, I should say, that they kind of earned this opportunity, I think, to win 9 games in a row. Or at the very least, like, it doesn't feel Mickey Mouse, because these are the defending division champions. They've proven that they can do this before, and they got Yohan Duran back, and they needed him because that bullpen was depleted, and for him to come in and slam the door in the 9th is huge. The Twins did make a roster move today. They sent Cody Funderburk down to AAA St. Paul. He gave up a home run last night, but it's not just because of that. The Twins have 3 left-handed relievers in your bullpen, and typically teams some only have 1, most have 2. 3 is pretty unprecedented, and it was Steven Okert pitching really well and Thielbar coming off the IL. It just felt right. Plus, you need a fresh arm here to help the bullpen. So they called up, and I want to get this name right because he's making his major league debut, or at least is making the big league club for the very first time. And that will be Twins prospect Caleb Boozley. I know it's spelled Booshley, but it's Boozley. From what I've seen on social media. Caleb Boozley had his contract selected from AAA St. Paul. Cody Funderburk optioned to the Saints, and everybody freaked out for a second because they saw Boozman get called up and they didn't know what the corresponding roster move would be. Is Pablo Lopez hurt? Is one of the Twin starters hurt? What's going on? And instead it's just a reliever. So I shouldn't say just a reliever. Funderburk was playing fine, but you get my point. But whether it's going to be to make a spot start and push everybody back, whether it's going to be like, okay, we're going to have Bailey Ober pitch 5 innings and we're expecting this guy to come in and pitch like 3, maybe, or like maybe whatever. If we're losing, we're going to have him come do some mop up duty, all that other stuff. But really, it's not a big thing in the grand scheme of things. The Twins are bad in need of an off day. They have not had an off day in like 2 weeks after getting an off day every other day. It felt like to start the season. So that's going to be big for the Twins to get that going. But other than that, Twins have an off day tomorrow. They try and get that winning streak up to double digits in 10 games and tie the 2008 record. I shouldn't say record, the 2008 streak. The Twins, I believe, won 12 games in 1991. So if the Twins can get up to 12 games, I'm not saying that a 12-game winning streak means that the Minnesota Twins are going to win the World Series. But the last time they did it, they won the World Series. And who am I to argue with results? This has been the Morning Sports Desk for Wednesday, May 1st.